The data is out, and I cannot believe what I'm looking at. A university, not a YouTube channel, not a Reddit thread, not a conspiracy account with 3 followers. Northeastern University ran a complete study of every single VAR intervention at this World Cup, every match, every team, every decision. And when I got to Argentina's number, I genuinely stopped and read it 3 times. 7 matches. The most VAR-intensive World Cup in the history of the sport. And Argentina have not had a single VAR decision go against them. Not one. 0 against. In 7 matches. On one of the most controversial VAR decisions, and the most important one for them to maintain in this tournament, the screen went dark for the whole stadium. A Brazilian reporter heard someone shouting to shut down the screens. And when you add what Infantino was doing inside that stadium the night the screen went dark, I promise you this gets so much worse. You won't believe it, I'll get into it. But also, in the midst of all these scandals, what does FIFA do? They change everything about VAR, mid-tournament. Yeah, you probably didn't notice that either. I'll get into it and what Infantino was doing that night. But before that, let me show you what this university actually found. Because the numbers are genuinely staggering. Northeastern University didn't just look at Argentina, they looked at every team, every intervention, every category. And when you see the full picture, the Argentina number stops being surprising and starts being something much more uncomfortable. Argentina are clearly on the top of the list of teams that have benefited most from VAR decisions at this entire World Cup. 4 interventions in their favour, 0 against, in 7 matches across the knockout stage of the biggest tournament on earth. Now here is the comparison that puts that in context. Croatia, the 2018 World Cup finalists, one of the most organised and defensively disciplined teams at this tournament, had 0 VAR decisions in their favour. And 6.5 against them, 0 for Croatia, 6.5 against. The same technology, the same tournament, the same officials. Completely opposite outcomes for 2 different teams, and it is not just Croatia. The study found a clear pattern across the tournament. Teams that faced Argentina in high-stakes moments were consistently on the wrong side of VAR interventions, while teams in other parts of the bracket had decisions go both ways, sometimes for them, sometimes against. Argentina's record remained the same through every round. 0 against. In every type of decision. Factual calls. Subjective calls. Attacking phase, defensive phase. The pattern holds regardless of the category. And here is the context that makes that 0 number genuinely jaw-dropping. This is not a World Cup with a handful of VAR decisions that Argentina happened to avoid. This is the most VAR-intensive tournament in the history of the competition. Over 100 VAR interventions occurred before the quarterfinals alone. Previous World Cups averaged somewhere between 20 and 30 total interventions for the entire tournament. This one produced more than 3 times that number before the last 8 had even started. VAR was everywhere at this World Cup, in every match, affecting almost every team, going both ways for almost everyone, except one team, in 100-plus interventions across the most VAR-heavy tournament ever staged. Not one went against Argentina. That is not avoiding VAR. That is something that requires an explanation that nobody at FIFA has been willing to give. And here are the specific moments that turn the Northeastern data from interesting to even more genuinely damning. Because 0 VAR decisions against Argentina is one thing, but the way those decisions were selectively applied is another. In the group stage, Argentina versus Austria, McAllister kicked Austrian midfielder Xaver to the ground in Argentina's own half. Play continued. The video assistant referee system reviewed it and decided the bar for intervention was too high. The goal stood. Messi scored. The record was broken. Peter Schmeichel, one of the most respected goalkeepers in football history, said on Fox Sports at halftime, "McAllister has kicked the player down. That should have been a free kick. I don't think that goal should have stood." The video assistant referee system disagreed. Bar too high. Move on. Weeks later, Argentina versus Egypt, Attia held Martinez's shirt and stepped on his foot simultaneously. More than 20 seconds before a goal at the other end of the pitch, VAR reached back, found it, disallowed the goal, Egypt 2-0 goes back to 1-0. The match changes completely. Argentina eventually win 3-2. Same tournament, same system, the exact same VAR. For McAllister's foul on Schlager, the bar was impressively high. For Attia's contact on Martinez, the bar apparently didn't exist at all. And Argentina were on the right side of both decisions. That is not a pattern, that is a system. But here's what the Northeastern study doesn't fully capture, because a data study can tell you what happened. It cannot tell you why the screen went dark. Let me take you back to Atlanta, July 7th, Egypt versus Argentina. Zico scored what looked like one of the goals of the tournament, an 80-yard counterattack of genuine brilliance. Egypt 2-0 up against the defending world champions with 11 minutes to play. The stadium erupted, and then the VAR intervened. Reached back more than 20 seconds, the full length of a pitch, to find a foul nobody had called, nobody had seen, and nobody in that stadium understood. And then the screen went dark. Every stadium at this World Cup has a screen specifically designed to show fans the VAR replay, to show them the evidence, to show them why a decision was made. On that night, in the most consequential VAR decision of the entire tournament, the screen showed a brief flash and went black. No replay, no angle, no explanation. 70,000 people sitting in silence with no idea why the goal had been cancelled. Not one person in that stadium understood what had happened. Not even the Argentine fans. People who wanted Argentina to win were asking each other, was it offside? Was it handball? What was it? Because nobody was shown anything. A Brazilian journalist who was inside that building that night went on television and said he heard it. An instruction given in the moments after the decision about the screen, about what those 70,000 people would and would not see. FIFA has never explained why the replay wasn't shown. Not once. Not a single word about that specific decision to go dark at the exact moment transparency mattered most. And now here is what Infantino was doing inside that stadium that night. But before that, if you're a football lover and you're enjoying these videos, could you do me a huge favour and hit that subscribe button? It means a lot to me, thank you. But now back to what Infantino was doing that night on the stadium. A video surfaced on X, verified, shared by multiple accounts, viewed millions of times, showing Gianni Infantino inside Atlanta Stadium's private suite during the Argentina versus Egypt match. He was not watching from a neutral vantage point. He was in the CONMEBOL president's private suite. CONMEBOL is the South American Football Confederation, the governing body that oversees Argentine football specifically. Infantino was sitting with Alejandro Dominguez, the president of Argentina's own continental football governing body, in a private suite watching the match.